Uh, so here, whenever you are going to consider this, we completed this half wave rectifier for R load, RL load, okay, and whenever a half wave rectifier is going to be provided with a freewheeling diode, isn't it? So in the previous session, we completed, we analyzed the converter operation provided with for a full wave rectifier in the midpoint configuration, isn't it? So in the midpoint configuration, we considered for R load and RL load. Okay, so that is going to be related to this midpoint type configuration of a full wave rectifier. So the other configuration of this rectifier, the other configuration of the rectifiers are going to be nothing but it is going to be uh, it is going to be the bridge configuration. Okay, so in the case of this bridge configuration, what you are going to do means we are going to consider two in the place of two devices in the midpoint configuration, we are going to consider four devices. Okay, so that is whenever you are going to consider this, here you are going to have four devices. This is going to be the circuit representation for a full wave rectifier. Okay, so most of you are familiar with this full wave rectifier in the signal standard. So that means you are going to consider the diodes, signal diodes, and you are going to provide a voltage of around 9 volts or 12 volts from the step down transformer, and you are going to connect the resistive load, and you are familiar with the operation when you have performed the experiment in the EDC, isn't it? So in the case of EDC, you consider the same full wave rectifier provided with diodes. Okay, there you provided an input voltage which is going to be of 12 volts, or which is going to be of 12 volts, and that is provided to the power diodes of D1, D2, D3, D4, and you consider the output voltage waveforms, isn't it? So here in the case of this full wave bridge converter, four control devices are going to be employed. Okay, so for in this case we are going to consider the thyristors. So you are going to consider the, we are going to have four thyristors, T1, T2, T3 and T4. T1, T2, T3 and T4. Okay, so as you know that for each cycle there should be some devices operating, and for the other half cycle there may be some other devices out of these four to be operating. Okay, so whenever you are going to consider how to check these devices operating, for which devices out of the four are going to be operating for the positive values, and which devices of which other devices are going to be operating for the negative, that is going to be simply considered from the supply polarity, supply potential. If the supply potential is going to be considered to be for the positive half cycle, for the positive half cycle, this end may is can be considered to be as a higher potential, and this end can be considered to be for the lower potential. So higher potential is applied for this T1, so it will be in the forward blocking mode until the triggering pulse is going to be provided. If suppose the triggering pulse is provided, the current conduction path is going to be from this to this resistive load, inductive load, and from this node will be a higher potential. So the current conduction path will be like this. Okay, so here the devices T1 and T2 are going to be operating for the positive half cycle of the supply. Similarly, if you are going to consider the operation for negative half cycle, what will be negative half cycle? In the negative half cycle, you may consider this to be of a higher potential than this. Okay, so why we are going to consider this as higher potential than this, and why we are going to consider this as higher potential than this in the reverse, in the negative half cycle, means supply, if you are going to consider the axis, if you are going to consider this axis, some part of the time the supply is going to be provided to be of positive, some part of the time the supply is going to be provided to be in reverse, isn't it? So for that reason we are going to consider this supply is going to have, sometimes it is going to be positive, that is higher potential here, and lower potential here prevailing. Some after that time, in the other half cycle, you are going to have a negative voltage. So that makes that this node is going to be making higher potential, and this node is going to be making lower potential. Okay, so for the negative half cycle of the supply, this can be considered to be as a higher potential, and this can be considered to be of a lower potential. So what will happen? Higher potential is going to be applied across this. So the current this is going to be the connection, here is going to be applied. So always what will happen, whenever higher potential is going to be applied to this anode rather than the with respect to cathode, so what will happen, this diode is going to be this thyristor is going to be in the forward blocking mode. Okay, after that the current is going to be moving like this, and what will happen, again this device is going to be in the conducting, this device is going to be, anode is going to be provided with higher potential than the cathode. So what will happen, so this will be in the forward blocking mode until the triggering pulse is going to be provided. So the initially one thing to be remembered here is, if the current starts here, if the current conduction starts here, then what it should return, what is the end of the return path, it should end return like this, isn't it, moving away from this and entering from this, that is going to be the current conduction path, isn't it? So what it is going to be done, for the positive half cycle, how the current is going to be moving from this particular node of the supply to this T1, T1 to this load, from the load to this T2, T2 to this, isn't it? So this will be for the positive half cycle of the supply. Coming to the negative half cycle of the supply, the current is going to be entering from this node, of the supply, from this T3, T3 to this load, from this load to this T2. Always the entering end should be opposite to this particular end. So from T3 from T3 to this node, that is going to be the current conduction in the negative operation. Okay, so for positive operation of the supply voltage, T1 and T3 are going to be operating. For negative half cycle of the supply, T3 and T4 are going to be operating. Okay, so one thing to be remembered here in the bridge converters is, these two devices should be provided with a triggering pulse at a single instant. These two devices should be provided with a triggering pulse as a single device. Okay, so if there is any difference between the triggering instants of these two, if there is any difference in the triggering instant of these two, then ultimately what will happen means, you will have a discrete waveform, provided. Okay, so whenever the bridge converter is going to be considered, always in the bridge converter, whatever the pair of devices operating for positive values and pair of devices operating for the negative values, both the devices, so these devices should be provided with a common triggering source. These devices should be provided with a common triggering source. In that case only, both are going to be providing the conduction at an ideal time. Okay, so here whenever you are going to consider this, same as in the previous case, we are going to consider the operation provided for resistive load individually and resistive plus inductive load. Okay, so this is, we are going to consider the circuit here as of resistive plus inductive load. In the case of resistive load, simply this inductance is going to be neglected, and you are simply going to have a resistance. You are simply going to have a resistance provided here. Okay, so in this case, how the operation is going to be done? So for positive half cycle of the supply, you are going to give the triggering pulse for this T1 and T2. So you are going to have the conduction provided, current conduction provided by T1 and T2. So the current conduction path is going to be from this particular node to this T1, T1 to this resistance, resistance to this inductance, inductance to this to this T2, which is in conduction, T2 this to the return. That will be the current conduction path whenever T1 and T2 are going to be provided with a triggering pulse, which are going to be for positive half cycle. Okay, coming for the negative half cycle devices, the devices T3 and T4 are going to be in the conduction. When they are going to be provided in the conduction, what will happen? The current conduction path is going to be this node of the supply. The current is going to be moving like this, from this T3 T3 to this resistance, resistance to this inductance, inductance to this T4, T4 to the return path is going to be like this. Okay, here one thing to be remembered here, the dotted node is going to have the connection. Here there is no connection. Okay, it is simply a tapping. You can consider this to be of a tapping. There is no connection here. Okay, this horizontal line, what you are going to consider is going to be directly connected to this node, not this node. Okay, the connection of the supply is provided. Here you are going to identify a node, isn't it? A dot representation. This is one connection. The other connection of supply is going to be connected to this node, not this one. This is going to be a tapping. Kindly represent this with a tapping here. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so what could be the waveforms here? If you are going to consider the waveforms here, you are going to have the waveforms of current, voltage provided. This is going to be the waveforms provided for resistive load, provided for resistive load. The change here is going to be nothing but T1 and T2 are going to be operating for this, T3 and T4 are going to be operating for this. Okay, same as in the midpoint type converter, what we considered, the waveforms are going to be the same, but the operation here is going to be provided with two devices. This is going to be for T1 and T2, this is going to be for T3 and T4. Okay, so Ig1 comma Ig2, these are going to be the triggering pulse for Ig1 comma Ig2. These are going to be the triggering pulse for Ig3 comma Ig4. So you are going to have an voltage, output voltage provided as from alpha to pi for conducting devices T1 and T2, pi plus alpha to 2 pi for conducting devices of T3 and T4. Similarly, this is for T1 and T2, this is for T3 and T4. Okay, whenever you are going to consider the current as only resistive, this is for resistive load. If resistive load is only going to be considered, the current waveform is going to be similar to the voltage waveform. The current waveform is going to be similar to that of voltage waveform, but change in its magnitude. Is it clear? So this will be, this magnitude here is going to be V naught, this magnitude here is going to be I naught, that value is going to be always V naught by R. So whatever the resistance we are going to consider on that particular magnitude, resistance magnitude, this is going to be dependent, I naught is going to be dependent. Okay, so once again I am explaining this. This is going to be the supply voltage waveform. Okay, from 0 to pi, T1 and T2 are going to be operating. Kindly represent this as T1 and T2, this to be represented as T3 and T4. Okay, so T1 and T2 are going to be provided with the triggering pulse at alpha as shown like this. This is going to be for T1 and T2, this is going to be for T1 and T2, again T1 and T2. This when you are going to consider this Ig2, this is going to be for T3 and T4. So pi plus alpha, 3 pi plus alpha. So you may get a question doubt here. Okay, if these triggering instants are altered, if these triggering instants are altered, means if we are going to give the triggering instance for T1 and T2 somewhere here in between these two, what will happen? What will happen whenever the triggering instants are provided? So that means you are simply going to shift these triggering instants from beyond this pi. So that means if you are going to give the triggering instance for T1 and T2 at an instant of pi plus alpha, at an instant of 3 pi plus alpha, what will happen? Will the devices comes to the conduction, or will the devices never comes to the conduction? Anyone? Will the devices? So my question is, simply you are going to move this triggering instant for T1 and T2, not here, it is going to be here, pi plus alpha, and it is going to be shifted to 3 pi plus alpha. What will happen if we are going to give the triggering pulse for the two devices at pi plus alpha and 3 pi plus alpha? what will happen? So here, when you are going to consider this waveform here, what will happen? So from pi to 2 pi, from pi to 2 pi, a reverse voltage is going to be applied, isn't it? So what will happen means, if your T1 and T2 are going to be, T1 and T2 are going to be conducting whenever we are going to give the triggering pulse from 0 to pi only. If we are going to generate give the triggering pulse beyond this pi or beyond this 3 pi, then those devices T1 and T2 are going to be in the reverse blocking mode. There is no need, there is no use of giving the triggering pulse in the reverse blocking mode. So the device is going to be completely in the reverse blocking mode. So there is no if we are going to, if we need to trigger the devices, only the condition to be satisfied is we need to use the triggering pulse in between 0 to pi, 0 to pi for T1 and T2. Similarly, for the negative operating devices, it is going to be from pi to 2 pi, pi to 2 pi. So in this particular case only, the devices are going to be successfully triggered. Okay, so this is it clear with the voltage waveforms? So the voltage is going to be same as of the supply voltage waveform. Okay, and you are going to have the current which is going to be having slighter less magnitude. So you can you observe the change here? So the voltage waveform is going to have a higher magnitude Vm. Okay, but coming to the current magnitude, the current magnitude is represented to be of slightly less, isn't it? That is because depending upon the resistance value, the current is going to be dependent. If you are going to choose a large resistance value, the current, so here the current is going to be nothing but reducing. Okay, so the you are going to have I naught is equal to, you are going to have I naught is equal to nothing but V naught by R. Depending upon this resistance value, the magnitude of I naught is going to be dependent. Okay, so this is for resistive load. Here you are going to have T1 and T2 operation. Here you are going to have T3 and T4 operation. Okay, so this is for resistive load, and whenever you are going to consider the output equation, what will be the output equation here? What will be the output equation here? So same as in the previous case, what is the instance of voltage? So the instants of voltage are going to be from alpha to pi, again from pi plus alpha to 2 pi, again from 3 pi 2 pi plus alpha to 3 pi, 3 pi plus alpha to 4 pi, isn't it? Okay, so here whenever you are going to consider the output equation, so the output equation V naught is equal to 1 by periodicity integral alpha to, sorry, integral A to B Vm sin omega t. That is going to be the generalized formula. In that generalized formula, we need to substitute the limits and we need to find out the periodicity. So the periodicity here is going to be from 0 to pi. So the periodicity in between pi, it is going to be rotating, isn't it? So the output voltage equation is going to be V naught is equal to 1 by pi integral. In which limits the output voltage is going to be available? That is going to be from alpha to pi. That is going to be from alpha to pi. So you are simply going to substitute that as alpha integral alpha to pi Vm sin omega t d omega t. Okay, so whenever you are going to consider this, here you are going to get an output voltage V naught is equal to 1 by pi periodicity integral alpha to pi, that are going to be the limits of the output voltage Vm sin omega t d omega t. So you are going to get an output voltage V naught is equal to Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha, isn't it? Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. Okay, then average load current, average load current. Whenever you are going to consider this average load current, the average load current is going to be I naught is equal to V naught. the average load current V naught is equal to Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha, average load current I naught is equal to V naught by R. So Vm by pi divided by R into 1 plus cos alpha. So here you are going to get different voltage magnitudes. That difference in the voltage magnitudes is going to be completely dependent on this alpha. Okay, alpha can be chosen to be of 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, or any other value. Whatever the value you are going to choose, that value of voltage is going to be obtaining. Whenever the voltage magnitude is going to be obtained, that voltage divided by the resistance connected going to give the current value I naught in terms of amperes or milliamperes. Okay. Similarly, you are going to have an RMS load voltage. So the RMS, the generalized formula for the RMS output voltage in the case of a converter is going to be V naught RMS is equal to 1 by periodicity integral A to B supply voltage square under root, supply voltage square under root. So this is going to be V naught RMS is equal to 1 by periodicity, that is going to be 1 by pi into output. The limits of the voltage waveform are going to be alpha to pi, Vm by Vm alpha to pi. Supply voltage is going to be Vm square sin square omega t d omega t, which is going to be considered under root 1 by 2. Okay. Whenever you are going to solve this, you are going to get the final expression for the output voltage equation. V naught RMS is equal to Vm into pi minus alpha by 2 pi plus sin 2 alpha by 2 pi under root. Okay. So mostly all are familiar with these integrations and derivatives. So simply I am simply explaining this basic equation, fundamental equation. From that you can find out this equation, output equation, final RMS output equation. Okay. This is completely for the resistive load. Okay. So here you are going to consider the other waveform. This is for resistive plus inductive load. Okay. So you are going to have the conduction. Whenever RL load is going to be considered, what will happen? The conduction is going to be changing. Whenever an RL load is going to be considered, the conduction is going to be changing. So the device actually it is intended to be turned off at pi, but due to the current, the device is going to be still in the conduction up to pi plus alpha, up to this pi plus alpha. Similarly, up to 2 pi plus alpha. Similarly, up to 3 pi plus alpha. So what will happen? You are going to have a you are going to have a positive voltage, you are going to have a negative voltage prevailing across the load. Okay. The average voltage of this is going to be nothing but resultant of this positive and negative, resultant of this positive and negative, resultant of this positive and negative. So in general, in the case of a resistive load, the average output voltage is going to be reduced as you are going to consider the resultant of positive value and negative value. Here what will be the limits for this? In the case of output voltage, so the waveform is going to be repeated periodically with a periodicity of pi. So V naught is equal to 1 pi. Periodicity is, what is the periodicity here? Its value is going to be pi. V naught is equal to 1 by pi. Limits, what are the limits here? The waveform is going to be starting at alpha and it is going to be ending at pi plus alpha. So integral alpha to pi plus alpha Vm sin omega t d omega t. So whenever you are going to solve this, so the limits here are going to be V naught is equal to 1 by pi periodicity integral alpha to Vm alpha to pi plus alpha Vm sin omega t d omega t. Okay. So whenever you are going to consider this, the output voltage is going to be nothing but equal to, whenever you are going to solve this, you are going to get V naught is equal to 2 Vm by pi into cos alpha. Okay. How you are going to get different magnitudes of voltage? The different magnitudes of voltage can be obtained by substituting this alpha value. Okay. What is the alpha value here? We are here considering the alpha value to be somewhere here to be of 45 degrees like this. Okay. So how to find out this alpha means, from the waveform means this total value is going to be 180 degrees, isn't it? If it is going to be placed at center, this will be 90 degrees. Okay. Then the half of this value, if it is going to be placed here, half of this value, this will be 90 this value here is going to be 45. Okay, you need to check the value of firing angle on the basis of this total value. It is going to be 180 degrees. If the firing is going to be nearer to 90, you may consider 90 or 75, like that. If the value is going to be here in this case, this will be center point, so it will be 90, half of it will be 45, isn't it? So whenever you are going to consider the firing angle, we are going to measure the starting instant of the waveform. One thing to be remembered here is, so always whenever the triggering pulse is initiated, the device comes to the conduction. So always you need to consider this particular point in this alpha, not the rear end, this one. Okay, this particular value of the phase should be substituted here for getting the output voltage. Okay, so here you is it familiar with this output voltage? Okay, starting at alpha, actually the conduction should be at pi, but due to the inductor current discharge current, the device is going to be still in the conduction up to pi plus alpha. Okay, so T1 and T2 are going to be in the conduction from alpha to pi plus alpha. T3 and T4 are going to be in the conduction from pi plus alpha to 2 pi plus alpha. Okay, so coming to the current is going to be continuous. Okay, so from this it is going to be considered to be of a continuous current conduction. When it is going to be considered to be of a continuous current conduction, means whenever there is a non-zero value of the current, then it is considered to be of a continuous current conduction. If the current is having a zero value at any point in this waveform, then it is considered to be as a discontinuous current conduction. Okay, here this is going to be the representation for the continuous current conduction. Okay, so then moving to the other, here this rectifier can be operated in two modes of operation. This bridge rectifier can be considered in the operation for two modes of operation. Okay, how these two modes of operation are going to be considered? Means possible, means those two modes of operation are going to be possible by the value of the firing angle, So here let me clear that what is the maximum possibility of the firing angle here? That is going to be, we may consider 0, we may consider 30, we may consider 45, we may consider 90, we may consider 120, 135, 150 and 180, isn't it? Okay, so the value here are going to be, for an RL load, when you are going to consider the firing angle, 90 degrees is going to be the base point. 90 degrees is going to be the base point. So what is this 90 degrees? So that means we can able to consider the converter operation with an RL load for firing angle less than 90 degrees and firing angle greater than 90 degrees. Okay, so this 90 will be, the converter operation is going to be completely deferred when you are going to consider the firing angle less than this 90 degrees and when you are going to consider the operation beyond this 90 degrees. Is it clear? Okay, so you are going to have two modes of operation. One mode of operation is going to be considered to be with firing angle less than 90 degrees. You can consider the firing angle less than 90 degrees. Okay, when the firing angle is going to be chosen to be of less than 90 degrees, what will happen? Here in this case, the firing angle is going to be 45 degrees, isn't it? So what is output voltage? The average output voltage is going to be positive. The resultant of these two, this is going to be much higher, much large area, and this is going to be a small area. Okay, the resultant of this is going to be positive. So that means V naught is going to be positive, I naught is going to be positive. So what will happen? Power, what will be the power? Output power, converter output power, V naught, P naught is equal to instantaneous current multiplied by instantaneous voltage. So V naught multiplied by I naught. What will be V naught? It will be always positive. The average V naught will be always positive. The average I naught will be always positive. So power P naught is equal to positive. That states that the current is going to be, the load current is going to be always flowing in this particular direction, and always the voltage prevailing across the load is going to be positive. That means this will be higher end, this will be lower end. Okay, positive. That means you are going to have V naught positive. You are going to have the current always moving from AC side of the supply to the DC. Okay, so in this case, the converter operation is considered to be, in this case, the converter operation is considered to be as of rectification. So power is going to be, power from the AC side is going to be rectified and pumped to this DC load, pumped to this DC load. Second condition is, the second condition here is going to be inverting mode. What is this inverting mode here? Means in the case of this inverting mode, if we are going to choose the firing angle greater than 90 degrees, you can observe the firing angle here. The firing angle is, what is the firing angle here? It is going to be 135 degrees. So this will be 90, and you are going to give the firing angle provided to be here at 135 degrees. If we are going to give the firing angle at 135 degrees, what will be the conduction in the positive? 180 minus 135. 180 degrees minus 135. So what will happen? Mainly each device is going to have 180, 135 minus 180, that is going to be 55 degrees. So each device is going to have the conduction provided for 55 degrees, isn't it? Positive, the operating device are going to be having. So T1 and T2 are going to be operating for 55 degrees. T2 and T3 and T4 are going to be operating for 55 degrees in the positive, and again T1 and T2 operating for 55 degrees in the positive. But as we are going to consider for an inductive load, what will happen? The devices comes to the conduction, sorry, the devices are still in the conduction, and they are going to be becoming to the tone off state whenever the current becomes 0. Okay, so here in the negative you are going to have a, the device is still in the conduction, and those devices comes to the blocking state at this particular state. So what will happen? The load provided is going to have a mean negative value, higher negative value. That means the conduction for T1 and T2 are going to be from this particular instant to this particular instant. The conduction for T3 and T4 are going to be from this point to this point. The conduction for again T1 and T2 are going to be from this point to this point. Okay, so here whenever alpha is going to be chosen to be of greater than 90 degrees, the average value of output voltage, the average value of output voltage is going to be nothing but resultant of these two for positive half cycle, resultant of these two for negative half cycle, again resultant of these two for positive half cycle of the supply. So what will happen? What is the average value here? Negative, isn't it? The average value here is going to be negative, as negative conduction is going to be more. Okay, then what will be the power of the converter? V naught is equal to, sorry, P naught is equal to V naught multiplied by I naught. What is V naught here? The average V naught is going to be negative, and a minus, that is going to be minus V naught into I naught. So that states that power is going to be negative. V naught, power P naught is going to be negative. What is the meaning of power negative? Power negative. What is the meaning of the power negative across this load? So V naught is going to be negative, means nothing but in the case of a RL load, whenever the firing angle is going to be chosen to be greater than 90 degrees, the load voltage is going to be negative. As the load voltage is going to be negative, it states that the energy which is going to be stored in the inductor, that is going to be pumped back to the AC source. That is nothing but the converter is going to be acting as an inverter. The converter is nothing but acting as an inverter. So let me clear one thing here. In the case of an RL load, RL load, if we are going to choose the firing angle of less than 90 degrees, that may be 30 degrees, 45 degrees, or 60 degrees, or 90 degrees, the mean average value is going to be, the mean average output value is going to be positive. So the current is always going to be positive, states that the power is going to be flowing from the AC side to the load connected across the DC side, stating that this particular converter to be operating as a rectifier. So that means whatever the AC power that is provided here, that is going to be rectified and provided to this DC load. Okay, if we are going to consider the firing angle greater than 90 degrees, so that may be 135 degrees, 120 degrees, 135 degrees, 150 degrees, or any other value. Okay, in that case what will happen, the average value of output voltage is going to be negative. So V naught is going to be negative, I naught is going to be still in the same direction. Okay, so what will happen, the power is going to be P naught is going to be nothing but this V naught provided by I naught. V naught is going to be minus V naught multiplied by I naught. So nothing but the power available here is going to be nothing but just pumping the current in the reverse direction to the source, nothing but acting as an inverter. This particular converter circuit is acting as an inverter. Okay, so two modes of operation prevailing in the case of a full wave controlled rectifier for an RL load is, one is rectification operation and the other one is inversion operation. Whenever the firing angle is chosen to be of greater than 90 degrees, whenever the firing angle is chosen to be of greater than 90 degrees, that converter is going to be acting as an inverter. Okay, so that inverter is considered to be as line commutated inverter. Line commutated inverter. Here you are going to you will have the waveforms like this. Supply voltage triggering at 135 degrees greater than 90. This is for T1 and T2. This is for T3 and T4. Again for T1 and T2. Again for T3 and T4. So this will be positive conduction. This will be negative conduction. This will be positive conduction, negative conduction, positive, negative. Okay. So here you may get a doubt how this waveform here is going to be represented. As the cycle is going to be continuously moving on, the conduction for this negative of this particular device is simply represented here. Is it clear? Actually, we are going to consider the operation here. So how we are going to get this negative voltage? Means this negative voltage here always is going to be in the case of an RL load is going to be completely the end part connected here. As this waveform is going to be completely cycling, completely moving on, you are going to have the negative conduction of this particular device as represented here. Okay, so actual conduction for T1 and T2 are going to be these two, T3 and T4 are going to be these two. Again, when you are going to consider for T1 and T2 are going to be these two, T3 and T4. T3 and T4 positive conduction is going to be this and negative conduction is going to be this. Okay, you can observe that in the previous waveforms also here, this particular thing. Okay, this is going to be nothing but the conduction prevailing beyond this value is going to be represented here. Okay, is it clear with this? Okay, so this is going to be for the inverting mode. So this inverting mode or rectification mode is going to be possible whenever you are going to consider this RL load. If it is only resistive load, simply this converter acts as a rectifier. There is no inversion. There is no inversion. Okay, so have you copied these waveforms? So all of you turn on your videos for a while and please respond. Have you copied these waveforms and circuits? Have you copied these waveforms, circuit and waveforms? Is there anything doubt related to this operation? Please respond. Is there anything doubt related to this circuit operation? Two 47, 19 series 204, 19 series 203, 250, 208, 54, 23, 38. Is it clear with the operation? Yes or no? Two 29. Okay, we will see the other in the later class. Okay, most probably the second unit is going to be completed. Simply we need to consider one more thing, that is we need to consider performance analysis for these converters. Okay, we can see this in the